Hello, everybody. Sorry it took me a minute to get on. Grim here. Let me get my camera set. Oops, sorry. How are you? I was late because I was playing with a new feature. It gave me the embed code for the video, and look at that. I am Facebook Living on my actual website. That's pretty cool. If you guys want to see the page, you can watch from here. There's nowhere to comment, but that's pretty cool. So I can embed the live actually right there on the event. So if people want to watch from there, they can. I'll need to enable comments and think about that. That's pretty cool. Hey, Marcy, did you hear what I was saying? Facebook gave me this cute little embed code. It's gone now. I don't know where it went. When I typed in there, it went away. But I had this little embed code, and I embedded it into the page. That's pretty neat. Right now, I'm streaming live on the event. It's Facebook Living. I don't know. It is now. It sounds like it to me. I don't know. I can't pause it over there, though, so I'm going to back out of it. The emojis are going crazy. I don't see any emojis. Oh, can you do emojis on the live on my page thing? I bet you can't. I bet you have to view it on Facebook for that. You can like it. You can view it on Facebook. But that's it. I don't think it lets you pick different likes. I hit like and it said confirm. Oh, I have to log in as me. That's pretty neat. Ha! It's like someone is pressing them all at once. On mine, I don't see any emojis going on the bottom. I see Shantae's here. She pressed one time. She did a love. Anyway, that's pretty neat that I can stick that there. I love it when there's new features that just pop up. Well, no, that's not true. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I don't. The other day, I was sitting here talking to Marcy, I think it was, or it may have been Shantae, and a friend of mine went live, and it just popped up right there on my screen. Yeah, I'm not seeing any emojis. I don't know what she's talking about. But it just popped up in my screen when he went live, and I was like, ooh, I may not want every video of all my friends to pop up while I'm live, because sometimes I'm screen sharing. Oh, that was you I was on with. Yeah, it was one of you. Because I was like, ooh, video, where'd you come from? You sent me a screenshot? All right, let me see. Let's see. Wow. I don't know. Who knows, Marcy, with yours, it might be from yesterday. Or last time I was live. They might be from last week's. There was a bunch on last week's. Maybe that's from last week's. Yours does some weird stuff. Your videos always like catching up to the last video it saw. It's really weird how it does that. All right, so today on the agenda for Biz Tips with Grim, we are talking about introducing yourself into groups. So if you guys have seen the last few weeks' videos, I don't remember how many I've done. I just keep making videos. With everything that's going on, I'm too stressed to think clearly today, and I did not make notes, so we're winging it today, just so you know. But the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about joining groups. We've been talking about what types of groups, how to kind of go through the group and see if it's going to fit your needs based on what type of advertising you want to do, what type of things they allow. We talked about getting to know the group leader. I'm not going to go into what's happened with me today because it's still ongoing, but I think that you should always make sure, and I've said this before, and I don't know if people listen or just don't care or what, but you need to get to know the people that you're connecting with, particularly if you're going to give them money. Go to their website, go to their Facebook page, go to their group, check them out. You want to know about these things about those groups. So, and I'm not going to get into that because this is going to take me down a whole nother path, but make sure you know who you're working with before you work with them. So you know what they do, specifically what to expect when you meet with them and all of that stuff. But also, if you're going to be in the groups, you want to make sure that you're going to like their lives. If you don't like or want to be in the group leaders group and you're just there because of everybody else, that's probably not cool. I mean, it's nice, but you guys probably all join other groups together and would probably be on one that's, better suited for you based on the group leader. So at this point, based on what we've already been covering, you should have already picked which groups you like, which groups you want to use, and say, 3 to 5 of them that you're going to be actively networking in. So now that you've selected those groups, you just need to introduce yourself. That's the first way to get in there. Don't join a group and immediately go, hey, I got a promotion. Or, hey, I need feedback. They don't know who the hell you are. Okay, you think of a group, and a lot of people will say this, you think of a group like you're walking into a party somewhere or a business gathering, or however you want to think of it that makes it feel like a social event to you. And don't just walk in the door and be the loudest person in the room. I almost said a really dirty word there. Don't just walk into the room and be the loudest person there and be like, look at me, listen to me, because they don't want you around the party. You don't even know what the hell's going on. You don't know what the party's for. You don't know what they're doing. So now that you've checked out, what the party's all about, now it's time to introduce yourself. It's just like introducing yourself at a party. You're going to meet people, not a group. Okay? Sorry. I might be a little angry today to be doing videos. Yes, don't be the loud drunk bitch. Some parties, it's okay. That's why I said check out the party. If it fits your needs and that's the kind of party you're having, then it might be okay. I've been in groups that's what it was all about. The quiet little meek ones never got heard anyway because there was too many big loud mouth drunks in there. So, if that's the group, then so be it. Typically for business, that's not what you're going to find. So you want to go in and you want to introduce yourself, and basically you're gonna put an introduction out there. Hey, I'm Grim. I do tech support. I own Homegrown Hustlers. I like to work with blah blah blah. But also make sure that when you're doing your little spiel and your little elevator speech or whatever you've got together to give them, include a little bit about yourself. You're getting to know them, not pitching your business. Hold on. So make sure that you say, and in my case, I'm married. I've got 3 kids. They're all teenagers. It's a wonder I have hair. By the way, it's purple. Most people can see that, and most people end up asking. I answer questions about hair too. How do you get your hair that way? How do you keep it that way? Blah blah blah. So I don't really have to say anything about it. The other question I get is where my name came from. Sometimes I'll throw that in, or sometimes I'll wait until they ask. Sometimes I don't mention. A lot of times I don't mention where the name Grim came from. Leave some things that are obvious but have questions so that they'll respond. In my case, it's the name or the purple hair. And you can do that in what you're saying. Something that's going to encourage them to want to know more about you. So definitely throw something up there. And then when you put a picture up there, this is not the time to use your cartoon images. It's not, and I use those too, but it's not time to use your cartoon images. It's time to use a real picture of you. Usually when I'm introducing myself, I like to use the one of me from behind. It shows my purple hair and it shows my Grimm tattoo, and it's like, this is Grimm. She's really, you know, and they can see from my profile, my front picture, they can go there and see everything else about me. But I usually use that one because it gets people's attention. It's the back of a purple head. It's like, what? So make sure you put up a picture of you. It can be of you and your kids if that applies to what you're doing. Hi, Jessica. But you need to put up something that's you, so that they feel like they're really getting to know you. Yeah, the back of my purple head. See, I got a Grimm tattoo. If you hadn't seen that. If my hair's cut right, you can see it. When it gets too long, I know, because the tattoo's covered up. But yeah, I like to do that picture because that picture is usually, and a lot of times it'll be, I like your hair. That's all they'll say. But the thing is like Marcy's approach always is, you try to do something that's going to make, and she's, instills this in me constantly, and it's true. You want to try to put something on there that's going to garner a response. You want them to post, because every time they comment, it's going to bump that post back up. Purple hands. Well, I would do a headshot, front or back, depends on your, but I think a headshot's probably best. You could probably put purple hands in your group, because then they'd know what the hell that was all about. You're trying to introduce you, not my head, so I don't know how that would work out for you. You can add your purple hands underneath my purple hair and do a pitch off of my or do a intro off of my intro. But I think that says more about my head than you, Shante. I can't quit playing with my hair. It's falling out. It falls out and it gets stuck around my neck and it drives me crazy because I feel it. I'll try. I make no promises. But yes, after you introduce yourself, I know. After you introduce yourself in the group and you're getting people responding back, make sure you respond to them. And then if you want to really further it, ask them about themselves. Do it just like you were doing if you were in a party. That's your introduction. Instead of you going around from person to person and introducing yourself to each one, you've put your introduction out there. Everybody's going to see it. If they want to come to you and meet you, they're going to respond on there. If they respond, it means they're interested in knowing more about you. Take that opportunity. Talk to them. I'm probably the worst one for an example of this, because I really have to be in the mood and have the time to do it. So try to do your introduction. Now here's where you run into your problems. I can tell you try to do your introductions when you're going to have time to respond. But the problem is they're going to come on there whenever. So you're not going to put it up and get a bunch of responses. You're going to put it up and you're going to get a response. And it's going to kind of run down. Then somebody else is going to see it. Then they're going to bump it back up. Then you're going to get a couple more. And then it's going to go down. And it's going to flow like that. So over the course of the next 24 hours, you're probably going to have to be responding. Hopefully a lot. But go ahead and introduce yourself into all of your groups and be planning to do a lot of responses and networking and actual communication with the people who are responding to you. at least over the next 24 hours. I'm not saying don't schedule anything else. I'm just saying, account for the fact that you're hopefully going to have a lot of responses on there and that you need to respond. And it may be more than 24 hours. It may be 48 hours and somebody will bump it again and you go, oh, there I am again. I did one the other day. No, I did one last week and it was probably been dead for 3 or 4 days. And then somebody commented on it. It's back up to the top. Now they're saying stuff on it again. So it really depends, on how the traffic goes on it. So you can't plan. This is what's going to happen. And I know that sounds really stupid, but I used to think like that. And then I was like, it takes them forever to respond. I pin it and I post it and I intend for them to respond and they don't. And then they don't do it till later. So then I'll be like, okay, screw it. I'll do it before I go to bed. And then I'll respond when I get back up. And that didn't work out for me because sometimes other people would jump in that did the same thing that I did and would hijack my post. If you've never had a post hijacked, good for you. I have. It happens. You tell them what you do, and then they'll comment back on there, oh, I'm looking for somebody like you. What do you do? And if it's 2 or 3 hours later, you can see where somebody else commented back on there. I do the same thing. I can send you a PM right now. Are you ready for a message? Da, 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 da. They may jump on it. They don't know you yet, So it can get a little frustrating. I'm not going to lie. It was for me anyway. Introducing myself into groups, especially big groups where you're going to get a lot of responses, is you should expect a lot of responses if there's a few thousand people in the group, especially if it's, continuing to get bumped. And that's what they'll do in those big groups. They'll wait for somebody else to post what they do and not respond quick enough. I hate to say it, but I've seen it happen. Has anybody else ever experienced that? Have you ever had a post hijacked by somebody else that can do what you do? Cheaper, better, faster. Right now. I've had that. And like I said, some of them were just on intros. So, that's what happens. Once you start posting in there, that's kind of the flow of things. You make a post, it goes to the bottom, it gets pulled back up. Oh, I have in the bigger groups now. It was always in ones that were, I don't know, 10,000. I don't know. I think what was Freedom Hackers? It's not there anymore. But I saw it happen in there a lot. I had it happen in there. It was bigger groups that have a lot of people in them. And, yeah, it happens. And it sucks. So, yeah, I posted earlier in the day, and then I just planned to have to go back and forth to it throughout the day. And then I know that by the evening, it may or may not get, as long as I stay on it, it tends not to get hijacked. But if you leave it alone and it gets bumped up and it's getting a lot of activity and you're not there, they'll jack it. You got to watch out. Usually not as much on the intros. Now, I will say that. Not as much on the intros. It's usually on ones where you have offered that you're going to do something. And I see it happen more than I've had it happen. Especially ones where they're going, and I've seen these where I'm going to be offering free support for whatever for the next hour. And then people will post on there and go, oh, I can do it. You can get with me right now. You don't have to do it in an hour. You can schedule with me anytime. I always give everybody at least free 30 minutes or free, and they jump on there and they hijack it. And people will go to whoever can answer them first. But that goes into your ideal client too. So take that into consideration. Is your ideal client, in most cases, your ideal client is someone that's like you. So if you wouldn't go with somebody that's like that, your ideal client's not going to jump with somebody like that either. So don't be heartbroken if they go. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it can happen. I just want everybody to be aware of what can happen. And, when you're posting in these groups and you're interacting with these people, it's all about being quick and staying on top of your game and making yourself visual and known. If you are in these groups for a little while, and I'm sure you guys have seen them, there are people in there that that you recognize, that you've seen posting on a regular basis, not just from their intro. If you've been in a group for a while, post another intro. If you've changed all your shit around and you haven't really been active and nobody still really knows you in there, post another intro. Update your information. If you go back and go through a group and search, you can see if people posted intros to the group, and you can see what they do, because you can search by name and try to go all the way back as far as you can on how many posts they have and how many things they've commented on. Sometimes that's a long list. If they've got a really long list there, they're very active in the group. So that's what people are going to be looking for on you too. Or that's what I look for. If that's not what you're looking for, check it out. Go to a group, put in a search, somebody's name, and see how active they are in the group. That's how the admins check to make sure they're actually adding value when they have a group that's like that 80-20 stuff, where you can promote yourself 20% of the time, but you got to be participating 80% of the time. Well, they can go in there and do a search. Am I froze, Marcy? I must be froze. Let's see. It's still doing things. Oh, that's crazy. Log out and go back in. I don't know why it's doing it. That's nuts. It's stuck in a loop or something, Marcy. Not for you. She likes the lots of emojis, I guess. But yes, get into groups, be active, check them out, see who's posting the most. Make sure you're one of the ones that are in there that's posting a lot. Check and see. Check yourself. If you're not sure how active you've been in a group, I have been in some groups and I comment so much in some groups that they just come up. Like, I don't get friends feeds on my wall hardly anymore. It's mostly groups and pages is what I mostly get on my timeline now, because that's what I'm interacting in. I don't do a whole lot on my personal profile. Yeah, see. But go in and search the group and see if you're posting and see if you're commenting. And if you don't know if you're being very active in that group, then be more active. But I, like I said, have gotten to a point on mine where that's all I see on my wall. So I comment straight from my timeline. I don't go to the group and look through the post. Well, no, that's not true, because I will follow the rabbit hole. I will follow that post to there to find it again, because it may be stuck on my screen and I came back to it. And so all of this, you're throwing me totally off with these damn emoji things. I can't see none of them. That's sad. Anyway, I've made my point. Go to the groups and post your intros. Make sure you post a little bit about yourself, not just about your business. Read the terms first. Make sure you've read those. In my group, you're allowed to post. In my group, you're allowed to post your links. Some groups don't allow you to post links in your intro. So make sure from our previous things we've been over that you've read those descriptions and rules and whatever the group says, and follow their rules, or they will kick you out. So if you can put a link in there, put a link in there. If you can't, then don't. Be careful about mentioning your business name. Again, something you will learn from the description. Some don't even want that, I have seen. Some don't allow you to show any kind of logos. The first group I was in that I mentioned a little while ago, Freedom Hackers, is no longer there, was a very large group, and she did not allow anyone to post any logos. If somebody needed help with their website, they could do a screenshot, but they had to blur out any of the, they're supposed to blur out any of the logos and stuff that were on there. And quite honestly, in my group, I think that I'm not going to give you extra work to show me something. If you need to show me something, just give me the dadgum link. It's easier for me to look at it that way. It would be easier for anybody else to look at it that way. But it better be because you have a question, you need something done. It's not because, hey, go check out my new program. Unless you've cleared it with me first, or you're regularly posting in there. My people that regularly post in there, no, they can post a promo. Because they're in there helping, they're in there posting, they're in there daily, they do stuff. So, you know, it depends on the group. Check out the group. Follow the rules. Post your intro. Leave them something wanting to know more. I know that my name makes it a unique situation as far as wanting to learn something more about me. But I'm sure y'all can come up with some kind of ideas of ways where you could leave them wanting to know more. I'm not a writer, so I can't help you with that. Marcy and Shantae may come up with some ideas and post them in the chat. But you definitely want to encourage the feedback too, you know, or encourage replies, not feedback, but replies, so that it'll bump it up. And I guess that's it, unless anybody's got questions. Just make sure everyone introduce yourself or reintroduce yourself in all of your groups this week. So you should have had 3 to 5 of them picked out now that you're going to actually network in. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to introduce myself in some groups tomorrow, not today. Today my mindset and my mood is not match introductions. But tomorrow, and I don't have time to go back and check them all right now, but tomorrow I will be. Read the rules before joining if possible. There are some groups I don't join because they have too many and they are too picky. Yep. Not from the promotional standpoint, but from the personality standpoint. If it's not a rule that makes sense to me, then I probably won't agree with their logic. I can understand that. That's in the past videos that I've talked about, is going in and checking out those rules, checking out the descriptions, reading all the files, checking out the group leader, checking out the members, seeing what kind of responses they have. Is there even anything in there for you? You know, and then again, you want to make sure it matches you. So if it doesn't match you, then it shouldn't be in your 3 to 5. So definitely use the rules to rule them out or determine if they're worth giving a shot. And yeah, so go ahead tomorrow or the next day, sometime this week, go ahead and at least say your introduction, and then don't stop there. Now we're going to talk more next week about interacting and how to, once you've got the ball rolling and you've put your intro out there, how to keep it going. But after you've introduced yourself and you are responding to those, until we get back together next week, answer people's questions, comment on people's posts in there, be active as a user, not as a promoter, not as somebody who's posting on a regular basis. If you have questions, ask them questions. If you need feedback, ask for feedback. I wouldn't do anything promo yet. I know that a lot of people say that's the point of joining the group. I always do an intro, be in there for about a week, still kind of feel things out, make sure they know who I am and that I've been interactive before I start posting any kind of promos or pitches or things that I'm trying to get them to me for. Just because it makes better connections. And it makes you get a better response on your posts because then people have recognized you. They've seen you posting answers to different things. They know you have a skill set and they know where your skill set lies. So there you go. And like I said, that gives them something to search for too. Remember the search. They're going to search, see what you've done. I did. So any questions, any comments, any ideas on how to make your post more intriguing, to make them want to ask you questions or want to know more about you? If you have ideas, please put them in the comments and share with others. It always helps to have ideas. Oh, Jessica, are you still here? I think she's gone. Jessica, are you still here? It's so cool that I'm live on the Facebook, on the website page. Well, darn. I'll have to show her later. Did you guys see it on the page? It's so cool. All right. I am going to go. Yes, be yourself. Be helpful. Be vibrant. Be you. Stand out. Let people know who you are, why you're there, what you hope to accomplish if you want to go that far. But do make sure that you are being active, especially after you've introduced yourself. Keep that ball rolling. Don't introduce yourself and run away. That's like, hi, everybody. Bye. And then leave the party. Don't do that. Go in and then mingle. If you're not a party person, this might be difficult for you. I understand that. I'm not really a party person either. I'm more of a host person than a party person. So I just kind of be me and take over where I can fit in. And I'm a little bold about it. But not everybody is. So, be you, but do be around. All right. Bye.